Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Brother Minister Cepeda here to set forth a new video for you guys. I am the founder and the operator of a holistic ministry that's name is Tree of Life Outreach. It's Tree of Life Outreach. It's a holistic ministry. Visit the website at treeoflifeoutreach.com. Definitely like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Do me a favor, because I like to honor that my Heavenly Father in everything that I say and do, which is one of the reasons why, which is the primary reason why I send you guys to the website. Read the bio. Read the bio and know that this Heavenly Father, whatever you're comfortable referring to Him as being, know that it's real. Okay? It's not some mythological thing. It's not, some fairy tale thing that we were taught as kids. It's actually real. And that testimony, that bio at treeoflifeoutreach.com bears witness to the fact that it's real. He's real. So check it out, guys, and familiarize yourself with the services that I provide, where I seek to provide you guys nourishment for your mind, your body, and your spirit. I balance and synthesize those things via philosophical consultations, experiential-based philosophical consultations, ISSA certified fitness training, and spiritual, clean-hearted, spiritual teachings and practices. I have to put that word clean-hearted in there because, as we know, some things that people are practicing from a spiritual standpoint are unclean. So it's clean-hearted spiritual practices and teachings, as well as youth and young adult mentoring and counseling. That's my thing that I do just to try to give back. I come from the inner city, so I like to put a priority on that particular demographic. But it doesn't matter where you're from. You could be Wall Street, to down in the hood. It doesn't matter wherever you're from. If you got questions, you got comments, you got concerns, you know someone who's interested and who could benefit from the youth and young adult mentoring and counseling, give me a holler, okay? So what we're going to talk about this time, at this moment, man, this video is just about, being courageous. Plain and simple. Cut and dry. Be courageous. Whatever it is that you should be courageous in. Society is going to hell in a handbasket right before our eyes. And what are we doing? And I'm talking about those of us who are courageous. We don't walk around like we too big for our britches. I think those who really are courageous, they definitely ain't walking around starting no drama. If anything, they're trying to avoid it. So I'm not talking about the would-be guy, the would-be tough guys and all those guys. That's just how I don't get down. I'm talking about those who really, really have true courage. Courage enough to love. See, caught you off guard, didn't it? Courageous enough to love. Courageous enough to show compassion. Courageous enough to forgive. And if need be, courageous enough to stand up, go to fight, and go to war. But oftentimes we misassociate this thing with courage as meaning, an act of violence, being willing to engage in a physical conflict or altercation. I don't know that that's even a good description, or I don't know if that even really fits unless you put it in the context, unless you preference your statement, because a physical confrontation, that doesn't prove to me that you're courageous. I mean, if you win, it's not going to make you more of a man. If you lose, you're not going to be less than a man. So I'm not a huge fan of that being a gauge to measure how courageous one is. the willingness to fight or engage in battle. That I know some cowards that engage in battle. You know, they'll stab you, they'll shoot you, they'll get in a shootout with you, they'll fight you. That's not real courage to me. Real courage is having the ability or the willingness to, maybe, if you're going to include those things, maybe do those things out of something that means something, not just out of this macho image or this tough, this tough guy persona or whatnot. If you're going to do those things, do it out of love. If you're going to be willing to fight somebody, do it out of love. And obviously, the love with family starts there, but I'm talking about love where maybe it's a stranger. Maybe it's a stranger where you just walking down the street, but you see somebody being totally, say for example, getting beat down, totally getting stomped down. That takes courage. I don't know that it really, it takes courage to stand up, for your family and your friends and stuff like that as well. But oftentimes, those of us who have the courage, we don't be courageous. We don't be courageous, man. We've been, and I guess it's a slippery slope, because I guess sometimes we're playing it safe, and we have to play it safe. Of course, we can't just be reckless. But I think there are some things going on in our society that, for those of us who have courage, if we would just stand up, open our mouths. No, man, that's wrong, man. Stop worrying about what it's going to look like, how we're going to feel, the social ramifications on YouTube, or if the word get out that you may be of this ethnic group, but you caught on camera telling the people of your same ethnic group that they were wrong for doing something to somebody that was of a different ethnic group. Whatever it may be. We got to stand up, man. We got to stand up, because the cowards is the one that's running the world. Those are the cowards. Anytime you got to try to put somebody down because they different, anytime you got to make somebody feel guilty because of the way they choose to live their lifestyle, anytime you got to talk about and ridicule people and try to make them feel ashamed for not having as much money, those are things that cowards do, man. Anytime you want to judge somebody based on how much money they got, that's a cowardly move. That's a cowardly move, as I see it. So cowards are running the world. It's cowards that, in their cowardice, they have constructed a global system, a global network that can shut the whole world down. Well, we think there's a pandemic. You guys get in the house and close down. If not, we'll send our goons at you. Cowards. Most of the goons, cowards. At least the ones that, in my view, most of the ones that's on just the regular city and maybe even state police level, these cats are cowards. They always went to school and got beat up, laughed at, talked about. And this was their way to take revenge. Army soldiers, they may be a little bit different. They may have some courage. Not all of them, but some of them are cowards. And again, I'm not using that to gauge just because they're in the Army, they may be courageous, because a lot of them are cowards. You know, they'll go over there and fight with the United States Army, the most lethal army on the planet, but would they sign up if they were in Nam? Well, those people were fighting. Those were truly courageous people. All those people that laid down their lives to somebody who was a lot bigger, a lot stronger than them, a lot more capable than them. But if you take the vast majority of American soldiers, and put them in a situation where they are by far the underdog, will they fight? Will they fight as tough? Will they sign up by the masses that they do day to day? I don't know. And that's not saying nothing derogatory. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm simply telling you how I feel with regards to, you can't tell me that some of them, that whatever the number is, yeah, they all would join up to go to college or whatever they're signing up for if they were in a little rinky-dink country that could possibly be getting ran over. No, they'll say skip college. They'll do something else. But it's the greatest power, military might on the planet. So now for those of them that's over there and they know they brave, they know they courageous, then this ain't for you. But some of y'all, so don't leave me no comment talking about them denigrating or excoriating the servicemen, because I'm not. And yet, if the truth be told, some of y'all that's really courageous over there, y'all know that y'all serving right side by side by some of them that's over there with you, but are cowards. So that's not the point that I'm making, and I don't want to spend a great deal of time on that. The military, the guys in the military. I'm basically talking about the day-to-day average Joes who can walk down the street. I saw a video not long ago where the police went in this old couple's yard and went to tasing this old man, and nobody did anything about it. Now again, I'm not advocating, I don't advocate any kind of violence. I'm just using that as a point of reference, like, man, just out of a sense of compassion. Nobody's going to say anything. I didn't even advocate. I didn't even say do nothing. Say something if you're not going to do so. Have the courage to be courageous. What's the good in being courageous if you're not going to be courageous? Now, maybe in that particular incident, there was no courageous people around. But there are a lot of us who walk down the street and see people being misused or being neglected. We won't exercise courage. It's a lot of times we're in situations and circumstances where a nice smile would be appropriate. But if you smile and you got your buddies with you and they see you smile, or these are a whole bunch of tough guys or whatever, or you're at lunch break and there's a certain hidden code about behavior, so you won't even smile. You won't even smile. But you'll walk through a wall and you'll fight a man and beat him down and take your bloody noses and choke him out or be choked out. You'll go through that like it ain't nothing. But you won't even speak up and be kind when you know being kind is what you should do at that moment. You don't have the courage for that. Or you won't channel the courage that you have to something like that. I can't think of the wise man. I'll think of it here in a moment. But I'll think of his name in a moment. A wise man once said that courage is of the heart. Courage is of the heart. It's not about politically correct actions. It's not about even what most view as morally acceptable behavior and conduct. It's about what you feel, what you know in your heart is right for you to do. And a lot of us who have courage, we know what's right in our heart sometimes, but we don't push through with that courage that it takes to say, wow, let me do this act of kindness. Let me speak up when everybody else is going. You're not speaking up out of fear of what could happen to you. I think sometimes we're speaking up because we've been told to speak up, not to speak up, or we're not speaking up because of the social ramifications or what it may look like, or that's just not in the trend to do right now. Being kind and smiling and being happy and helping people and loving people and standing up and going against the grain. That's not in right now. So this could hurt my business. This could hurt my image. This could hurt my label, my brand. And it really doesn't really even make sense, because you'll be the same guy who will fight bare knuckle to the death, who will strap up and go to war. But you won't channel that courage into situations that's really meaningful with regards to helping our society and helping somebody else. So I don't really know what is really causing that. And I know I can speak for myself that I've been in situations that I've had to catch myself and say, man, you need to say something. And there's another voice saying, hey man, that's none of my business. And it ain't none of my business. And I'm not prescribing that everybody just go put on a cape and turn into superheroes. But there's that small little tugging. Again, just speaking for myself, there's a small little tugging that said, man, you know what? You should say something. Say, hey man, look man, y'all can talk like that if y'all want to, man, but that's not the way I view old boy. And I'm just commenting because I heard y'all talking about him or her in a certain way, and that's not how I view them. So I'm gonna step down this way, but I want to let y'all know, man, dude ain't like that. She ain't like that, man. Y'all talking about she this, she that, he this, he that. That's not what kind of person that is, but most of us won't do that. Sometimes we won't do that. And again, just speaking for myself personally, I've had to call myself to the carpet. Whether it was that kind of situation or a situation where you drove by and saw somebody, and yeah, it ain't your business, but after you left that scene, minister, you thought to yourself, man, you just drove right past that. And just think of all the people who really have courage, and we just driving right past stuff. I know there's got to be balance. We got to be careful. We got a family. We got to make it home to ourselves. But a lot of times these situations they're not life-threatening situations where if we engage the situation, our lives are going to be put at stake. It's more and more or less like our social, like we've socially accepted the fact that, that's just not in style right now. Being nice, being kind, speaking up and assisting someone verbally, or giving somebody a nice, friendly, hey, what's up, how you doing? So we got all this courage in us, man, but it's just been bottled in. Maybe it's just been bottled in to where only if there's a physical conflict, then we'll show courage. But all the stuff that really, really matters, that leads up and oftentimes transcends the physical confrontation, we neglect that. And I know I'm not the only one out here that does that or has done that, because I started holding myself accountable and say, man, you know what? If you know you should have said something, or you take that quick moment and you know you should say something, or you know you should smile at that guy, you know you should smile at that girl, but because she's sitting there, she's mean mugging you, her energy and her vibe is off, we're just gonna take the cop out. You're just gonna take the cop out road and say, well, her energy ain't right. I ain't get. So how's the thing? How's society ever gonna get better? How are we ever gonna get our way out of this? Well, yeah, he looked like a dude that is cut from this cloth, or he looked like a dude who come from that type of belief system. So even though I see him sitting there trying to change the tire on his car, and I watched him, the jack slipped and bust his hand open because his energy is not right, or because he's from a different ethnic group or a different race or what have you. It's just not in style. I might go over there and say something to him, and it might be a physical confrontation, or somebody might see me, whatever it may be, man. It's just an odd set of circumstances, man, because I know there's a lot more courageous people on this planet, male and female. And yet we see situations and circumstances on YouTube or in our own personal lives where people are being mistreated, people are downtrodden, no one's being courageous enough to go in there and say, hey, look, I just saw you, looking like you had a lot on your mind. I mean, whatever the situation may be, and maybe I'm not doing a good job of, coming up with some real good examples, but you guys know. Y'all know in y'all heart. Hence the definition of the word. The one wise man said, courage is of the heart. It's not about what's politically correct. It's not about what's considered to be morally acceptable behavior. It's about what you feel in your heart. And you have something in your heart that you can afford to let that courage that you have be channeled towards. So come on, man. Let's do this. I know we're in a crisis situation. We got a pandemic. They're always talking about different wars. They're always talking about a possible crisis in the finances. We're in a crisis. Yes, I know that. But crisis means, I believe in the. I have to do my research, guys. As you know, I am Minister Cepeda, and I do research any topic that a man can conceive. I dare to research any topic that a man can conceive. So I need to make a note to myself to research first the gentleman, the wise man who made the quote about courage. I'd like to know a specific name, so I may Google that or go to my study references over there. But there's another wise man, or I think this may be applicable to maybe a certain ethnic group's particular definition of it. But their definition of crisis is both danger and opportunity. So I know there's crisis going on, and I know there's crisis. So some of us, we got crisis in our families, crisis in our finance, plus the crisis on a global level, wars and stock markets and things of that nature, pandemics. But crisis means both danger and opportunity. So in these times, we have an opportunity to put our to put our courage on display, to utilize it and channel it, and not just keep it towards keeping just our family safe, or going to the fire range for just in case of a situation like that. We need to utilize it for a vast. We need to broaden our portfolio in that regards. We need to be able to be courageous here, courageous there. And obviously we have to walk in wisdom, and you guys know that I'm not advocating or saying that somebody could just be reckless just because they're courageous. They should do this. That's not what I'm saying. You guys know. Yeah, I'm feeling this message. You girls know. When I say guys, I'm talking guys and girls. You girls know. You done been down at the club, and because she didn't get in the car with old boy, or she got in the car with old boy, but she didn't give him everything he wanted, and he talked about her and maybe said some things about her that you knew wasn't true, but because the crowd was there or whatever, you didn't speak up. And that type of situation has happened over and over again with regards to different situations where it didn't require you putting yourself at risk of a physical altercation. It was just simply you having the courage to speak up, having the courage to be kind, having the courage to be friendly, because everybody around was unfriendly. Somebody has to stand up and remove that, be that one domino that's removed, that's set aside, so that the row of domino just stops. It stops right there. So I know it's easy to just not say something, especially when that's the trend. Ain't nobody else saying nothing. Why would I put myself? But oftentimes your intuition it ain't gonna lead you to no path to where you're gonna speak up when you should be quiet. I'm saying speak up when you know you should speak up, and your intuition will guide you through that, because intuition is one of those things. Intuition and wisdom and courage, all those things are closely united in my view. So I just want to send a shout out to those of us who have courage, man. What's the point if you have courage but you're not going to be courageous? You have it for a reason. A lot of people don't. I venture to say that most people are not courageous. So you are a courageous individual for a reason. It's not just for you to sit back and be ready to go in physical confrontations or protect your family. It's for you to be courageous when you see something that's wrong. So long as, again, under that umbrella of you walking in wisdom, when you see something wrong, say it's wrong. Don't take that cop out that I got a family to go home to. It's none of my business. Don't take those cop outs, because if there's one person that's being mistreated and you have the courage to do something about it, then that's not having courage. So your courage kind of goes to waste, and in my view, you diminish yourself somewhat. Anytime a situation requires courage, you have the courage, and you don't apply it, you diminish yourself. I'm not talking about those times when you got courage, but it's inappropriate for you to get involved. Maybe it does put you in jeopardy. Maybe it does compromise you. I'm not talking about those situations. So I feel that when a person have courage and the situation requires courage, and they don't set forth that courage that they have, then they diminish themselves. Heavenly Father didn't make you courageous for you to sit back on the sideline and watch everything and everybody go wrong and go bad. You know people need a hug. You know people need love. You know people need a word of encouragement. You know people need a ride here and there. You know these different things. So don't just have that courage for yourself, and don't just have it on the runway for if there's a physical situation or something like that. If there's a need for a physical confrontation or whatever. That's for the birds. If you're courageous, then you've already cleared that hurdle. Whether you will whoop some ASS, or you've never had a fight in a day in your life, but you know you will fight. Okay, so you've cleared that hurdle. The question is now, what are you going to do when you see all these other situations that require courage and no one else seems to have it, or no one else is being courageous enough to set forth their courage? This is my challenge to you, male and female across the board. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Brother Minister Cepeda. I like to start my videos the same way, sending people to the website so that my Heavenly Father can be glorified. And I like to end it with my own personal mantra that I 100% live by. If you're not feeling good, if you are feeling bad, you know you're feeling bad, you're in a rut, whether for that minute, that hour, that week, that momentum, an hour can turn to 2 hours, can turn to 2 weeks, and so forth. But however long it's been, if you are not feeling bad, if you're feeling bad, go out and make somebody else feel good. I guarantee you'll feel better. If you're feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good, and I guarantee you'll feel better. See, this is that courage we're talking about. And if you already feeling good, and you go make somebody who's feeling bad feel good, then you'll go from feeling good to feeling phenomenal. That's just the way this thing works, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have an incredible day, and I look forward to getting some more videos to y'all. Hit the like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.